Good morning, everyone. If you all want to say hello and let me know where you're joining in from, that would be amazing. Maybe someone can just let me know that you can hear me, okay? I'm sure you all can. I'm just going to wait a few minutes until we get more people on, and then we'll make a start. Thanks, Nazim, for letting me know. I can't see the chat box, but I can see the Q&A. So that is great that you can hear me. Fantastic. Just going to give it a couple more minutes. So if you've just joined, maybe you could let me know where you're joining in from, where you are today. We've got a couple of people who are saying they're in Exeter, Ireland. Fantastic, great that you can join. Hi, Katie. Bicester, I love Bicester. I love shopping at Bicester. Hi, Ken. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Jenny. Just going to say a few. Hey, Leslie, over in South Africa. Great that you could join me. I've got people from all over. Fantastic. Belgium. Welcome, Ruth. Got Keely down in Pembrokeshire. Beautiful part of the country. Got Amanda in Scotland. Sherilyn is in Poole. Hi, Sherilyn. Hope you're well. We can't see you, Andrea. Don't worry. You can crack on with your decorating and have me in your ears. Oh, Julie, Sunshine Coast of Australia. Amazing. I hope you're well and safe out there. So, Shakita, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce your name. You're saying you're so excited. This is absolutely definitely what I need to hear. So I hope that when we finish that you're able to sort of, from the notes you've taken, apply something and it will help you become better at time management. Hey, Lisa, up in the Highlands in Scotland. Oh, fantastic. We've got lots of you on. That's just amazing. Right, let me just check the time. Okay, I think we will get going. Okay, I think we will get going. So thank you for joining me this morning. I don't know where sort of what the weather's like where you are, but it's a glorious day here. No rain today. So I feel great that the sun is shining and I get to spend 40 minutes to an hour with you all sharing some tips and some hints on time management. It's one of those subjects that obviously we all know that we can do better with, whether it's forever or life with time management. Before we get started, I just want to say that this webinar will be recorded and it will be uploaded to Forever Knowledge, and that should be by the end of the week. If you've got any questions, if you can put them in the Q&A box, and towards the end, I will go to the Q&A and I will answer your questions as best I can. What I would say is take lots of notes and take some screenshots, pictures of what I'm going to share. But remember, everyone's journey is different, so don't compare to what I've done. This is to give you an idea of how I've built my business and how I manage my time effectively. So who am I? Well, some of you may know me. I know there's a couple on there that do know me, but for those of you that don't, My name's Sara, and I joined Forever Living in January 2013. But prior to that, I had been a great advocate of the product. I was introduced to the product in September 2010. I had amazing results with the plan. I did the Clean 9, and straight away my friend said to me, you need to join this business. But for me, it wasn't something that I was interested in. Why is that? Well, my career is that when I left school, I went into the army. I had an amazing 12 years in the army. I've traveled the world, I've been to war, I've probably seen things that people wouldn't want to see. And I'm really grateful for that, because it probably enabled me to become the person I am today. What I will say is that I didn't get the grades, so I didn't know what to do, and I went in the army. Why? Because my sister was in the military and I saw she had a great lifestyle. I did 12 years. I was the youngest person ever to be invested in the News Honours List in 2000. I got an MBE, and that was just a very humbling experience. And I really love my job. I've served, as I say, over in Salisbury, so 6 years there, then went to Germany, went to Bosnia in the war there, which wasn't too nice, the conflict, and then came back to Germany. Then I came to London, and I finished my army career in London. I did 12 years, 12 amazing years, and then I went into that big bad world of Civilian Street. My skills weren't that transferable, but I managed to find a role in risk management, and then I went into the financial services, where I recruited for mergers and acquisitions. It was a great career, but I realized early on that that wasn't something that I was interested in. Why? Probably because no one was hiring in the financial services. It was at that time where times were challenging. And I then went into the telecommunications sector, where I spent 13 amazing years. I worked my way up the corporate ladder. I was always striving to be the best. And I think that probably just, I've got a really strong work ethic. And it isn't that what the army has taught me. I think it's what my parents taught me. I saw that they both worked really hard. They gave us an amazing life. They showed us you had to work for what you wanted. And I think that just was ingrained in me, really. What I will say is that what I found was, when I joined the telecommunications sector, it was very, very male dominated. I started off my career as a PA and worked my way up the corporate ladder to a corporate director. And it was great. I've traveled the world. I've been to places that people would dream of. And I generally and sincerely mean that. But when you're working, you normally only get to see an airport, an office, or a hotel. What it did do was it came at a price, and that price was time. For me, I worked, let's say, 80 plus hours a week. I spent 7 months of the year traveling in 2-3 week stints. And what I found was that work owed me. I certainly didn't have a work-life balance. At the time when I joined the telecommunications sector, I didn't have any children. Poppy there on the screen, my little girl, she came along in 2009, at the end of 2009. And I soon realized that there was no way I could carry on working the way I was with a child. And actually, I didn't want to work the way I was. But I didn't know anything different. You know, when you're paid a significant income, I was, and I share this to press upon you that this business opportunity is for anyone. I was a 6-figure income earner. I had an amazing lifestyle, but I had no time. And I didn't want to miss out on anything with my little girl. And I'm sure lots of you mums and dads listening in today can really, really relate to that. What I found was that any opportunity out there, if I left that role to go to another company, I'd still have to prove myself, start up from the bottom, work my way up the corporate ladder, and that would still take time. But as I say, I was introduced to the product in 2010. I said no for 2.5 years. So if you've got people who are on your who do you know list, who you've engaged with, who have said no, it's not a no, it's a no, not right now. I carried on using the product for 2.5 years. And in January 2013, something changed. I'd watched my friend who had an amazing life, but who built her business on social media. She was living in a different country. And I just thought, you know what, she's always got time. I really, really crave time. So I ate some humble pie. I listened into an online webinar at the time, and I joined that evening, and I've never looked back since. What I will say is, when I did join, I didn't have time. So really, time management is a subject close to my heart, because I had to create time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the presentation, And I want you all to really think about you, not my story, your story. Why have you joined the business? So who has time? None of us have time. You know, if you're in a job working this business part-time, you have to create that time to build your forever business. You know, if you're working this business full-time, you're probably not being smart with your time. And I hear that a lot. It's about being disciplined. And for me, I think what really resonated with me when I looked at this was I thought, well, I see this as a great opportunity. At the time, did I honestly realize what it would give me? No. But I knew that if I put time and effort in that I could be committed to, then anything was possible. But what I had to do was I had to carve out time in that busy schedule I had. And later on in the presentation, I'll show you how I did that. Obviously today we're living in a time where it's so different. You know, since March of this COVID pandemic, you know, people have had to work really, really differently. You've had people who have been furloughed. You've had people that have been made redundant. You've had people who are trying to work a job, be a parent, homeschool, be a teacher, be a wife, be a husband or whatever, and then go, well, where am I going to fit my business into that small pocket of time? Do you know what? You probably have not fitted your business in that time and you put it to the side and now you're thinking, I really wish I'd work. Whereas I know some people whose businesses have really exploded during lockdown. So it's been a real surreal moment to see the difference in people of how they work their business. But no matter what you do and how you do it, it's about creating the time. So for me, I just want to share some bullets here. We all have the same amount of time. You know, no one listening in today or who's going to be listening in on the recording has any more time in a day. We all have the same 24 hours. You know, look at that, 160 hours in a week, 720 in a month, 8,760 in a year. And I've put there to work your business effectively, you need 3 hours a day. You might have less than that and you can still work your business effectively. Don't think because I've put 3 hours there, that is what's required. That's my belief, that if you're working smart and your business is at a level, then you'll be able to give it more time. In the early parts of my business, I didn't have time. And for me, I had to really look smart and say, well, what could I give up? What was I prepared to give up? And how was I going to do that? And, you know, we always talk about a retail strategy, a recruitment strategy. I had to literally have a strategy of how I was going to build my business. You know, when anyone's going to build a business outside of Forever, you always have a 5-year business plan. So I thought, well, where do I want to be? What would I like to achieve in that time? And then I worked backwards. But in the early days, I just had to be committed to what I could do and then not beat myself up. You know, if you're one of these people that say, oh, I'm going to do X and you don't do it, don't beat yourself up. Just reflect on it. Ask yourself why you didn't do it. And then what can you do differently? So what's your reason for joining? My reason for joining is that little one on the screen. Literally, when I first joined, it was to have time. Then when I built my business up in the nooks and crannies, and I mean the nooks and crannies of time, I soon realized that I wanted more. And it's a bit like when when someone joins the business and they say, oh, I just want £200 to £300. When you achieve that income, you then want more. But what I would say is you have to be connected to your why. Your why is what drives you. Think of Forever as the vehicle, and for the fuel to get you to where you need to be is the activities that you're going to do. But my reason was here. It was at the forefront of my mind, day in, day out. And if your why isn't strong enough, then that's why you won't be too bothered about doing your work. And that's why when you've got time, you go, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll do it later. No, it does matter. Your why should drive you every day to work your business. So I want you to sit and think about your why. Is your why strong enough? Now, I have a goal map, and it's not a goal mapping session today, but my why, I had financially secure for this year. And when I did my goal mapping training with Lou Barnacle, she's amazing. She said, Sarah, the words in your main box aren't strong enough. And I said, oh, financially secure should be strong enough for everyone. And, you know, we all know what that means to ourselves. She said, no, it's not. Why do you want to be financially secure? So my daughter goes to a private school. And for me, my income pays her school fees. So by changing the wording on my why to Poppy loves her school, literally gives me a lump in my throat, makes me feel sick and makes me want to cry, because that's how strong my why is. I know that every day I work my business, I'm helping my little girl get the education that I want to be able to give her. There's nothing wrong with state schools, don't get me wrong, but that was a choice that I wanted to make. And she was at private school before I joined Forever. But what I'm saying is, your why has to be strong and you have to be connected to it. And that's why this will all come together. Now, here on the left, when I joined the business, this was up to October 2014. Now, I'm not saying any of you need to work your businesses like this, but if you're working your business part-time around a full-time career, what I would say is, look at your day, be honest with your day and say, right, I've got small pockets of time here and there, and commit to that time. So you can see I used to get up at 4:30. Most people only know 4:30 in the day, and that's in the afternoon. I'd go for a run, I'd shower, I'd work my business 6 till 7. What did I do in that time between 6 and 7? Well, in that time, I would send messages. Voice notes weren't really a big thing back in 2014 on Facebook. And my business wasn't visible on Facebook. My business, I was literally working like a secret squirrel. I literally sort of did private messages, or I did text messages, or I'd send emails to people. Nothing was visible on my timeline. So in that time, I'd be sending messages. Now, if you're one of these people that think, I don't want to message people that early, I don't want to interrupt them, don't think you're interrupting them, because if they're like me, their phone won't be next to their bed. Well, maybe it is, but they'll be on silent. But in that hour, 6 till 7, is when a lot of people actually look and scroll through things, especially if they're working parents. It's their quiet time, it's their time to catch up. In that time was my ability to be able to reach out to people. I never replied to people, I would just do outgoing messages. You'd see there, I'd get my little girl up for breakfast, our nanny would arrive, and then I would go to work. Now, this was on a day when I would be in the country. Obviously, if I was traveling, it was completely different. And the travel I used to do was Asia Pac, the Caribbean. So you can imagine I was all over the show of my time. When I was traveling home in that 6 o'clock schedule, that was where I would do phone calls to people when I was in the car on the follow-ups from the 6 till 7 a.m. So I would know on a Sunday when I planned my activity, who I was going to call on what day. So every morning on a working day in the week, in that 6 till 7, I didn't have to scramble through my phone and think, who am I going to message? It was already laid out, and it was laid out in my 7-day plan. So your 7-day plan, you can get this out of the First Steps to Manager booklet, or you can download them on Forever Knowledge. But this was detailed in here, who I was going to engage with, and it was also in my diary. So my diary was always with me, and it'd be listed in, and my diary was color coded. I also, if I had chance during the day, I mean, I don't know about you, but I never had a work lunch hour. I always worked for my lunch. But if I was able to, or if I could book in a call, I'd have to go and sit in my car and make a call. I couldn't make any calls in the office environment, and we worked on a really big campus, so it wasn't possible to do calls around the campus. I'd go and sit in my car and make calls. But those calls were introduction conversations where I was engaging and saying, can we arrange a one-to-one? I'd love to share more information with you. And they were either coffee at the weekends, or we would jump on the phone at the weekend, or on a Skype, because Zoom wasn't around then, it was Skype. So that's how precise and accurate I had to be with my working day. You can see I used to get home and I'd have half an hour, maybe an hour with Poppy, depending, before she'd go to bed. And then I'd work my business, my Forever business, again between the hours of 8 and 10. Initially, when I didn't have team, I'd be retailing, I'd be looking for customers, I'd be working through my Who Do You Know. But when I did get team, then that was when I would engage and catch up with my team between 10 and 8 and 10. And then you can see there between 10 and 12, if I had to go back to my day job, I would work then. 9 times out of 10, I did. And then I'd go to bed 12, 1 o'clock. Now you're thinking that's not much sleep. You're absolutely right. It wasn't much sleep. But I'd been working for like that for quite a few number of years. So it wasn't anything different to me. What I gave up in that 8 till 10 was either going to the gym or watching trashy TV. and I'd maybe watch an hour, hour and a half trashy TV, the likes of Grey's Anatomy and stuff, just something that I didn't have to think about. I could just sort of do a brain dump and just relax. And then I'd go back to my day job. I always worked in the evenings because my job was just so busy. And that was every day. And then at weekends, Saturday was normally a family day. I didn't always work my business at a weekend. Sundays, I'd then be prepping for a Monday. So any of you that know people that go to the office on a Monday or who work, they prep probably from 7 in the evening on a Sunday, getting ready, going through their emails. So they're ready for what they're walking into on a Monday. That was my life. And that's how I'd lived my life up until the end of October. Why is that? Because I set the goal when I joined of leaving corporate in April 2015, but I actually walked away from my corporate career on the 8th of October 2014. And I can't tell you, it was a real surreal moment. Was I scared? Yes, because I'd only ever been employed. Was it a risk? Yes, to a point, because I was self-employed, but it was no riskier in a sense than having a job because no job's secure. But I knew that if I worked hard, I committed to myself like I did to my employer, then why wouldn't I be successful? And I've never looked back. Now, this is, let me just move this. This is a business today with COVID. So this isn't a typical school working day. So I get up 6, 7 o'clock this morning. I got up at 6 and went for a run because I wanted to get myself sorted. I had to go and pick my daughter up today from a sleepover. And then normally what I do is get Poppy sorted. I join a power hour every morning, 10 till 11. What's a power hour? We as a team come together. We all join on Zoom. We say hello. There might be a few tips. We all put ourselves on mute and we work. So you're working independently, but virtually with a group of other awesome people. Then I work my business 10:30 to 11. Lunch, I always program in my lunch. It's really important to have lunch, especially if you're at home with a family. I then again work my business. You can see there 2 till 3. Poppy time, we do some stuff, and then family time in the evening, and then I work my business in the evenings when I need to. I don't always work my business every evening, but some evenings I do. Now, that's a typical day in school holidays, COVID. Now, if anyone's like me, you know, I've had to homeschool a 10-year-old. We've been lucky that she has had lessons. So when she's had lessons, I've been able to work, but I have had to be there to help her. Whatever, I don't know what possessed us, but we got a puppy. She was due before lockdown and lockdown happened. So we've had a puppy to deal with. I've had lots of excuses, but I tell you what, I've still worked my business. I haven't not worked my business. But what I've done is I've had to tweak my day. So what I want you all to do is I want you really to think about your schedule today and ask yourself, have you really been honest with what you're doing? Are you getting up, showing up and doing what you've planned on a Sunday? My guess is you're probably not planning on a Sunday, and that might sound a bit harsh, but if you are planning your activity, then you would stick to it and stick to it and tick it off as you go. For me, the 7-day plan is critical because you can then always go back and see what's what. Also, you know, you're going to use your who do you know list. You're going to then, or obviously also go through your profile sheets. So in your working day, you've got plenty of stuff to be checking over, going through, engaging. You've also got your activity trackers. So for me, when I work my activity tracker, they only go on here once I've engaged with them and they've asked for more information. And then I've got a log of people that I can continually follow up. But in that daily power hour, that hour is engaging and having conversations, engaging them to the next level and doing follow-ups. In the 11:30 to 1 is where I'm doing one-to-ones online. It might be where I'm catching up with my team. In the afternoon, again, I will be doing one-to-ones. You know, we have been so fortunate that our business can be online. Don't get me wrong, there is nothing better than face-to-face. But because of the situation we find ourselves in, you literally can work your business from home. And the tools that we have are incredible. Look at all the different trainings that have been put on for you. But you have to be smart with your time. You know, school holidays for me, my daughter broke up. She's been at home since the 17th of March. She got back to school for a couple of weeks or 10 days, which was great. I was able to work my business from 8 till 3, which was fantastic. But school holidays, she broke up on the 4th, and I've now got her home till the 9th of September. Amazing. That's the time I craved. But with COVID and everything, I've had to change my style of working. I've had my husband at home at the beginning of lockdown, like probably most of you. You've had a partner working beside you. There's easily more distractions. But what you've got to do is put the blinkers on. You've got to literally just look forward, not look left, not look right or look behind, just look forward and decide what you're going to do and commit to it. I think there's too many people that say, oh, this business doesn't work, or I haven't got time. You know, if you're honest with yourself and plan your activity, you know, every month you should be planning ahead. You should be doing your retail strategy. You should be doing your retail strategy and your recruitment strategy. You should be doing your 7-day plan. You should be planning what type of activities you're going to do in that. Are you going to do more online launches? You know, can you do aloe evenings online? Yes, you can't. I think you can sort of do experience packs to a point now, because you can drop them off. It depends on the person if they're amenable to that. But you can samples in the post. We offer a 60-day money back guarantee, so they can always buy the product if they don't like it. There's a guarantee there, they can have their money back. But there's many, many ways that you can work your business. It's about you getting up and showing up and deciding, what is it that I want? What I would say is, with your 7-day plan, some people need a bit of accountability. If you're one of those people, that's okay. I've got lots of people that do that. And I always like to have my 7-day plans to go back to. It's not that that person will critique, but maybe send your 7-day plans to your upline so they can see what you're doing and see if they can help you. It's not our jobs as an upline to critique what you've written. It's your plan. It's your 7 days. But make sure that you're pushing yourself, because remember, the more conversations we have and we get no's, the closer they lead to a yes. And for me, I have a whiteboard, and I put all the people, I don't know if you can see that, but I've got a whiteboard, and I use all the paper format, don't get me wrong, but I'm a very visual person. So I have people that are hot, not now, or contact in a while. And I'm literally always daily going through my board so that I know who, where, and what, because I definitely have found more people interested in the opportunity now than I have in the last 7 years. Why is that? Because people know that if they know you, that your business has been secure, that you haven't stopped working, you're still earning an income. Our systems have been better than ever. Deliveries within 48 hours. There hasn't been any delays. And they've seen that you're able to continue like that. And they're now intrigued. Some people have lost their jobs. And, you know, whereas before it was hard to get a job, it's going to be even harder now. So people have seen how you've worked your business and say, well, actually, maybe I could do that now. So don't be afraid to go back to the people when you're working your business today and going forward in following up people that said no, because the time now might be right. But what you've got to do is program that into your schedule. So I want you all, after today's webinar, I want you all to reflect and go back through your diary, and I want you all to think about what you can do differently. Are you being clever with your time? You know, if you need to be even more detailed with your today, when you're going to put the washing on, when you're going to put your breakfast on, because when you get up, most people, their alarm will go off at 6:30, and what they do is, and we all know it because we've all done it, we all get up, the alarm goes off, and we get our phone and we scroll. That's half an hour gone before we've even got out of bed. You've then set yourself up not in the right frame of mind. Why is that? Because you've read something negative, or you haven't seen something you've really liked, and that's in the forefront of your mind for most of the day. Instead, put your phone downstairs, put it on silent, get yourself an alarm clock. This is my daughter's, it's not mine, mine's in the other room. Get yourself an alarm clock and get up and stick to your program. Have your phone on airplane mode. Don't swipe through your messages until you've got your day started. So I don't look at my phone until I've done my exercise, because I don't want anything interfering within my mindset. I play a motivational song or a motivational video, and that gets me pumped for the day. But that is all scheduled into my program. But what I'd say is, for all of you who maybe don't have a routine, and yes, don't get me wrong, some things pop up, like today, I had to pick my daughter up at 8:30. I ran earlier than normal. She's got a friend here for the day. The day's slightly different, but that's okay, because I can still work smart with my time, because I am my own boss. I make the choices and I make the decisions of where, what, and how. So do all of you. It's not your upline's job to tell you what to do. But if you don't do power hours, maybe get your teams together on Zoom. You can get a free link for 40 minutes and just do a 40-minute power hour and engage. It's not a chatting session, it's a working session. But the power you get from working with a like-minded group of people really, really does go a long way. But I want you all to reflect, as I say, on your schedule. And if you need to color code in your diaries, family time, work time, this, so it stands out, but commit to it. For me, if you don't plan your work and you wake up and you go, right, today I need to work my business. Who did I last speak to? You go into your messages on your phone and you scroll through. That isn't working a business. I'm sorry to say, you really do need to get up and show up. If you go to a job, you show up and you know what you've got to do that day. This is no different. The only difference is you're in charge. You need to treat this business like going to any other job. You know, if you have a to-do list, you shouldn't have any more than 3 or 4 things on a to-do list, because you never get to the 5th. Work through it, be smart, and be sincere with what you're doing. So there's a question. You can see that I work smart. Do you work smart? And only you know that answer. And go and ask yourself that question looking in the mirror, because you probably will know what will come of it. Now, this is just a picture of, just to give you an idea of my diary. So I color code. This is an old diary. It's not current, obviously, but you can see I color code. So I know what my time is, how it works. But get a diary. Amount of people that don't use a diary. You don't have to get a diary as big as this. There's plenty of diaries available that you can buy. But what I would say is, you know, if you're planning it in, you're more likely to stick to it. Have your 7-day plan visible. Make sure that you're adding to your who do you know list every day. And make sure that you're going through your trackers and profiling people. Now is a great time to engage, be present, be visible. You know, program in your social media content. You know, social media takes a while, but you want people to know, well, what's Sara up to today? I need to log on and have a little look what she's doing. It's not that they're nosy, but because I've been consistent with my stories on Instagram, people are intrigued. I've had loads of friends messaging me over lockdown going, oh, I can see you're really into your fitness. What's changed? Well, nothing's changed. I've just been more committed to it. I've literally trained every day since lockdown has begun. And that's a goal that I set for myself. But I've shown up and I'm visible. I'm showing the products on my stories. So that all takes time, and that you have to plan into your 7-day plan. You know, some people do all their scheduling on a Sunday if it's Facebook, whereas with Instagram, you need to do it as you go. Keep it true, keep it current, and know that the stories only last for 24 hours, and use your grid to showcase more, to be able to use your hashtags and get more of a following. But that all takes time. So that needs to be built into your 7-day plan and your month plan. And, you know, you should all now be thinking about August, but also about September. Think about the rest of this year. What is it that you want to achieve by December, and what do you need to plan in? How can you be smart? So don't say, oh, look, the kids are off now. They're going back to school in September. I'm not going to work my business. That is an epic fail. Even if you've only got half an hour to an hour, commit to working your business in that time. I said 3 hours earlier. If you haven't got 3 hours, decide what the time is you can give to your business and commit to it, and be visible and touch your business every day. Because if you do, you will reap so much more at the end. You know, initial contact, it can take 6 to 8 weeks for someone to build up that interest. I am finding it's quicker than that at the moment, but if you don't do activity now, you're not going to be getting any interest till October, November. Can you afford to wait till then? I'm guessing not. So I want you to think about what's in your toolkit. Have you got the right tools in your toolkit, and what do you need to enhance it? Get yourself smart. Some people use the backpack tools online. Some people use the FLP app. I'm a bit of a paper person, but I do a lot on my phone. But I like to keep stuff. It's just the way I work. But find the way that works for you. Use your 1 to 12 folders and make sure that you use your 1 to 31. And that all comes in within your time. So you're not wasting time looking for stuff. You know where it is. So choices, it's up to you really. I love this quote. I am who I am today because of the choices I made yesterday. So think about that. Really think about that quote. I am who I am today because of the choices I made yesterday. I am eternally grateful for someone showing me the product and then being consistent on their social media to allow me to see what this is about, to allow me to make the choice to build my own business. Initially very part-time, but now I work my business full-time in part-time hours, so to speak. There isn't any other opportunity out there like this, but treat it like a business. Be smart with your time management, be true to you, and I ask you to show up every day. Right, let's answer some questions. How does a single parent manage their time for running their home as well as the business? Okay, that's a question I've heard quite a lot. And actually, I work with some people in my team who are single parents, but also parents whose husbands are at work all day. So with single parents and parents who are at home all day on their own with their children, what you need to be is honest with, you're only going to have small pockets of time. And don't beat yourself up about that. But, you know, I don't know what ages your children are, but when they're smaller, when they're napping, you can do messages, you can do engagements. Obviously, because we're stuck inside, normally if you're out and about, you can have throwaway conversations when you're meeting people. That's a little bit more difficult, but you will have small pockets of time. Do you sit on your phone and scroll? In that time, you could be building your business. Do you put the TV on when you need a moment? You could be building your time you could be building your business in that time. Or is it that maybe you could go to bed a little bit later? Or could you get up maybe a bit early before the children? It depends on the age of the children, I know, but don't allow it to overwhelm you. Just say, right, a typical day for me is X. I'm going to work my business in small pockets. So it's going to be 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. Whatever that time is, make sure that you've planned your activity on a Sunday so you know what you want to achieve for that week, and tick it off daily. I hope that answers your question. Do you have any tips for admin paperwork? I find the filing out profiles 1 to 31 updating, etc. very time consuming. Would love to know if you any tips for this. So everyone works it differently, Christine, and I'm going to be completely honest. Some people use their 1 to 12, some people have their 1 to 31. I'm a bit of a paper person. So what I do is I use 1 to 31 once they're in my system, but let me show you. I literally, when I engage with someone, I've got my 7-day plan. Every person I speak to that day, they get written down in this diary. And my diary is obviously with me all the time, but this diary here, they get written in there. And then what happens is once they then go to the next stage, they then go on my activity tracker. So my activity tracker is always current, and at the end of each month, I highlight the no's, the joins, so I can see what my stats are, because I like to see my stats. But for me, I do my profile sheets as soon as I engage. I make sure that I write something out on them, because I don't know about you, but if I'm engaging with someone, and let's say I've spoken to you, Christine, and you're telling me now isn't the right time, you're moving house, you've got this and this and this on, I would write that all into the profile sheet. I would put it into my diary, and I'd put it into my 1 to 12, so I know when I was going to engage with you again. And when I reconnected with you, I'd say, how did the house move go? Did this or this and this? So I'm not jumping in with, I've got an opportunity. I'm showing that, how did it all go? I'm showing I'm sincere, but also then following up with the content as well. So for me, this system works for me, writing everyone in the diary. I've got a log of everything. They're on my activity tracker, and I've got my profile sheets. But use the 1 to 31 or the 1 to 12, whatever works for you, but find a system that works. If God forbid something happened to me today, I would like to believe my husband, because he's on my ID with me, because when we joined he could pick my business up and run with it. He would know who's the contact, who I've contacted, and where we're at. That's where you need to be at. Dorothy, Which menu should we go for the 7-day planner? I had a quick look and couldn't find it. It's on Forever Knowledge, but you can also get it in the First Steps to Manager booklet, and you can photocopy it and get it that way. As I say, I'm a paper person, so I just photocopy and I've got heaps of them. But the 7-day planner for me is key. And you can also, I think this, on the web store, I believe you can buy pads of these as well. So have a look on the web store. How do you suggest me to organise with 2 toddlers home? I am interrupted every 2 to 5 minutes. I can't respect my schedule. So I understand that with small little ones. Obviously, my little girl's 10, but believe me, she's always knocking on the door going, I'm hungry, I'm bored, I'm this. And when you've only got one child, sometimes it's harder because you're having to entertain them more. However, what I would say is don't beat yourself up. Are you able to, when they have a moment, they're not obviously 24/7 awake, what little bits of time could you carve out? If you've got a partner, can you say to your partner, look, I just need an hour's quiet time. The little ones are in bed. I need to work my business, or get up earlier. I understand with little ones, you are going to be interrupted, but look at the likes of Lisa Prescott. She's got 2 twins, she's got 2 other children, and she works a business when the boys are normally napping or there's a quiet moment. I think there's an opportunity to work it whenever you're out and about. I wouldn't say you'll be prescriptive in this and this time, because it'll be random, but know what you want to achieve within the day, and don't go to bed until you've achieved that in the day, and be realistic with what you feel you can achieve in that day. I hope that answers your question. When is the best time to quit your job and go full-time? I can't answer that when the best time to quit your job is. That's a personal thing. For me, I got supervisor within 3 weeks. How? By purely retailing. I got to manager within 6 months. So I joined in the January 2013, and I set the goal April 2015, because I was a big earner. I was a 6-figure income earner. So for me, this opportunity was about time, but I still needed to have a good income. So for me, I could have left a bit earlier, but I was a little bit risk averse because I was used to getting a bonus, a pension, healthcare, etc. So I needed to make sure that my business was at a point where I had duplication, I had a solid growth, but also my income was at a certain level. It depends on your circumstances and what you need to be secure. I can't say you quit your job when you get to manager, because some people's manager businesses might not be where you need to be. So only you will know the answer to that. But what I would say is make sure that your business is secure, make sure you've got duplication, make sure you've got growth, make sure you've got the width and the depth in your business, because you don't know what can happen. Forever is not going anywhere, but if you don't commit and show up every day and you're relying on others working and they stop, then your income stops. So, you know, I always say you need to talk the talk and walk the walk, and only you will be able to decide when the right time to quit is. Any tips for the final part of the follow-up and getting the person signed up and fear taken away? You know, we've got so much amazing stuff online, Natalie, that I would say, you know, you're telling a story and you're relating the story to them. Why is it that they would be interested? Always remember, when you're talking to someone, it's not about you getting them across the line and having a new teaming. It's about what will they gain from the opportunity. And you're saying, getting in the person signed up and the fear taken away. Any tips for the final part? So the final part for me is about what will they gain from it. You know, if you've taken them through a good one-to-one, you've enabled to get them to see the BP that we have free online every week. There's plenty there for them to be able to see how secure this business is, what a great community it is, how it works. I would use some of the online tools, and I would say, for me, I only ever send a video if I can't get in front of them on a screen or in person. Always use video as the last port of call, but get them onto Zoom quickly and see the whites of their eyes, and let them meet you and let them see that you're real, and show them that we're a community and that, you know, this business isn't going anywhere, it's going further. And, you know, everyone will be a little bit unsure. Yes, they'll be excited, but it's the unknown. It's something maybe they haven't done before. So use the tools that head office provide us, and that should help you with that final part. The filing has always been a nightmare for me. How do you make it simpler? Well, I'm a bit, anyone who knows me will know I've got a bit of OCD in the sense that I hate mess. So I'm literally, everything's in folders. So for here, I've got all my 7-day plans, they're all here. I've got a folder here with numbers in. I've got my activity trackers all, and as I say, every month I then staple my activity trackers, go through and work out my ratios to know how many people do I need to be engaging with to get someone to join. Only you can make your system simpler. You know, if you're someone who's got paperwork everywhere, then you're going to be quite chaotic in your business. What I would say is make sure that you're keeping everything in order. So this is, this one here has got numbers in. This one's got my 7-day plans in. My activity trackers are over here somewhere. My activity trackers are here. So I've got all my activity trackers here, all color coded. I've got my diary where I list everyone. And then I've got my working diary where I note every one of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And then obviously I've got my 7-day plans, as I said. So that they're my folders, Michael. But Ruth, keep it simple. Only you know how you can work. But keep it organized, because you will find if you're more organized, you'll be more organized with your business. I want to ask from someone who doesn't really do time management, how to motivate yourself to work smart. To be honest, it just seems a lot harder to implement. You have a good work ethic, but if your goal is to be financially free and not to build so you can just be a full-time mother. So I don't think it is a lot easier than said than done. This business is not easy. And you might think, why is she saying that? This business is like any other business. What you put in is what you get out. Everyone's reason is different. So I joined this business because I wanted time. And I was able to, when I first joined, give my mother a full year's teaching salary and retired her from the forever money that I'd earned. So for me, as I say, forever wasn't about the money, it was about time. You're saying there you have a good work ethic and your goal is to be financially free. Financially free is to be able to pay £35,000 a year school fees, you know, and that's what I want to gain from my business and more. But to be a full-time mother, you know, I'm just, how I can answer that. You have a good work ethic, but if your goal is to be financially free and not to build so you can just be a full-time mother. When you say just a full-time mother, what do you mean by that? Because you're obviously doing this to earn an income. Is it just to have some extra income? Is it to just have some pocket money so that you can do things with your children? To build good work ethic is to be connected to your why. Why are you doing this? To be a full-time mother? Okay. How are you going to become a full-time mother? By working your business? Is it that you've got a job and you need to leave that job to be that full-time mother? And maybe you could just answer that for me and then I can answer it in a bit more detail. How would you organize your admin if your current job is mobile and you're on the road? So that's a really good question, because I couldn't carry all of that with me. I would carry a month's activity trackers. I'd have my diary with me. I'd have my forever diary, and I would have 2 sheets of who do you know, so I could add people to it. And it literally was in like a plastic folder like this, just literally like this. And it would go in my bag that would be with me. If you're someone that works all on the mobile, then fantastic. But I wasn't, because where I worked in a secure area that I couldn't have my mobile phone in my office. So I had to have it like that. But by working really smart and just having the minimal bits you need to hand, that works fine. You're saying obviously hard to carry 100 papers with you all the time, taking out a book or paper all the time. Yeah, I totally agree. I literally would have just my plastic sheet, as I say, with what I needed to enable me to function for that day or that week if I was going away. And obviously there's messages online that you can catch up with. So that works that way. I hope that answers your question. How would you organize your admin if you have a current job? That's fine. How long do you spend on the phone to convince a customer? Right. First of all, Ruth, we're not here to convince anyone. We're here to share an amazing opportunity. if you're having to convince someone, walk away. Our job is to share. And if you're living the lifestyle, as in using the product and showcasing what this business can give you in a way that's real for you, then anything is possible. Never ever think you have to convince someone. That's something I learned really early on. People will always say, oh, we don't sell. We do sell. These products do not walk out of the shelf and into someone's home by themselves. We have to show up and we have to share. So by telling a story of maybe why you've joined, but always remember, why would they be interested in your product or your opportunity? Give amazing customer experience. Majority of my customers have joined me or been with me for 7 years and have given me many, many referrals. What I would say is use your who do you know list straight away and bake that all into what you're doing. I hope that helps, Ruth, and good luck. It's an exciting time for you 4 weeks into your journey. So I think that's probably all the questions we've got today. I trust I've been able to answer them in a way that has helped you. I never like to use the word hope. I'm going to say that you will all have taken something from today and you'll be able to apply it to who you are. But I think the biggest thing is hold a mirror in front of yourself. Ask yourself, are you doing enough? Are you showing up to do the activity you need to do to get to where you need to be? Remember this quote, I am who I am today because of the choices I made yesterday. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you all soon. Stay safe and remember, keep working your business. In fact, we just got a couple of messages. Okay, perfect. Yeah, have an amazing day, everyone. Go out and smash it and make this end of this month and next month your best months and beyond. Thank you ever so much.